background cool?
The background's great. Yeah,
Okay.
I dig it. You got some greenery up there. You got some. What is that?
It's up on top of this hill. I had a neighbor, and he intended to build on top of this hill, but then the city had some kind of ordinances where you had to have a turnaround, so he'd have to build a cul-de-sac large enough for a fire truck to come up and turn around in. So that pretty much eliminated all of the room
Yeah.
that he would wanted to build. So he kind of started building stuff up here. Let's have a little.
Yeah, let's have a show. Jeff from the Aggrolites is going to show us the neighbor's yard that he's hanging out
hill. Look at this hill.
Yeah, man.
It's amazing.
Got a good view.
It's amazing. There's the observatory up there.
Oh, cool, man.
It's super cool. Maybe I'll sit up here.
Yeah, you can sit anywhere there is really cool. So it looks like he just built a bunch of random things that might be good for weddings.
Yeah. I haven't been to any up here. He had a few parties, but basically he was doing the best that he could with without breaking any of the city regulations. So he was kind of living up here for a while, and then he just gave up and moved somewhere else.
And now it's all yours.
Sorta.
Cool.
Now that I'm up here, well, there's a neighbor that lives right here. They got a cool setup. Look at that. They got a little yard set up. It is a cool setup. It's cool up here.
That's a great background, actually, because you got that crazy structure, trees.
Yeah.
By the end of the video, we'll find the perfect one.
Yeah, we'll just keep moving. Look at that butterfly.
Where? I missed it.
All right. They move fast.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So did you just wake up?
No, I've been up for probably a couple hours already.
It's good to catch the sunlight a little bit, you know. You don't want to go totally vampire, right?
It's good for you. Vitamin D.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, sunshine is good.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day.
So what you been up to? How do you occupy your nighttime hours?
Well, I actually been following instructional videos playing guitar. I'm a bass player, but I've been learning a lot of guitar stuff, fancy chords. So it's trying to make the best use of the time, something that I've meant to do for a long time. And now all of a sudden I got a bunch of time to do it.
Yeah, that is great.
I should have brought my guitar up here. I could have done a little serenade for this.
Yeah. So how far away is it? Because we can always hit pause.
Well, the thing is, getting up here is you kind of got to climb. I don't know if I could get up here one-handed with a guitar.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So basically, you climb somebody's wall and you're hanging out in their yard.
Right now, I don't think this property belongs to anybody. And if it does, they're not making use of it. I could have a neighbor come out at some point, but
yeah,
hopefully they'll.
You're not hurting anybody.
Exactly. Hopefully they'll recognize you as a neighbor.
Yeah. Are you planning on maybe incorporating a little bit of guitar lick in aggro, or do you do side projects and stuff too as well?
Yeah, I would say I haven't been doing it lately, but have you ever met Mark Orell? He was in the Dropkick Murphys.
Oh, hell yeah. We
had a thing. Well, I shouldn't put it in the past tense. It's kind of off and on. A thing he calls Wild Roses.
Right. Okay, I knew that.
So that's kind of funky, but with sort of more of an acoustic vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But like rock and roll with like rootsy rock and roll, but a lot of upbeat stuff.
Cool.
Upright bass, drums. We had a pedal steel guy playing with us.
Nice.
And it kind of goes in phases. Like we'll do it for a while and then kind of take a little break. And
yeah.
So he's talking about doing that again. So that's always fun. He's got a lot of energy. If you ever saw him.
Yeah, he does.
high energy performer.
Yeah, he actually produced our first EP that we recorded out in Massachusetts when we were on tour with Dropkick. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he is high energy.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Energetic guy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it is good.
So, what was the last show that you played before the lockdown?
Aggrolites had done a tour of the Southwest U.S., so we went out to Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and then we finished the very last show that we did was in Sacramento, which was, I think, the last day of February. So, and then it was a couple weeks, and then everything started getting shut down. Yeah. And I also work when we're not touring or playing in, concert and festival world. So I was actually working at the Forum. Yeah. And those were the very last shows, the Forum here in Inglewood, which is by the airport in LA. Kind of a legendary venue, I think. Yeah. But there was a couple shows at the Forum, a band called Tame Impala. Mm-hmm. And then it was interesting because everything happened so fast. They were just starting their tour, and it was a big tour. And they're a big band. They're playing 2 nights at the Forum. And San Francisco was to follow. So they did a Tuesday, Wednesday here in LA. And the Thursday was supposed to be a day off. And Friday in San Francisco. And San Francisco was the first place to lock down. Yeah. Right. So this was like March 11th. And then that date would have been, I think, the 13th. Okay. And so they, on the production side, were like, well, San Francisco's locked down. So we're going to have an extra day off here in LA and then pick up the rest of the tour after that. And things happened mighty quick after that. Yeah, sure did. Yeah. So that was it. That was it. And who knows when it'll pick back up as far as festivals and concerts and stuff, here in LA, California, they're being very cautious. I know other places are starting to open up, but our mayor, Eric Garcetti, he said, don't be surprised if there are no concerts, at least big scale ones, until next year, 2021. So we don't know. Yeah. That's crazy, man. Yeah, it is nuts. I never thought I'd see something like this. It's always like, a sci-fi thought in the back of your head, or in the back of my head. Yeah. I never thought it would really happen. Right. Well, there was a threat of Ebola some years ago. I don't know if you know anything about that, but a little bit. Yeah. My dad thought he was really into that stuff. So he would read my brother and I the real accounts, an entire book that a doctor wrote about it, in Africa. The Hot Zone. Horrifying. The Hot Zone. Yeah. The Hot Zone. The book, the book was called The Hot Zone. Yep. I read it. Yeah. Yeah. That's it is. It's horrifying. Yeah, what it does to the body. Seems like it just liquefies your innards. Yeah, just turns everything to mush inside, and you're done. So not good. Yeah, there was a case of that coming in, and it's been referred to in the news. I think it was during the Obama years. So when they had a case, I think it was I want to say it was in Georgia, but they just locked everything down immediately. Of course, there was no outbreak, so. So you do your own hair? Yeah. You cut your own hair? I cut it, yeah. Me too. Look. Oh yeah, look at that. Good. Yeah, you do a better job. It didn't even occur to me that what percentage of people don't cut their hair, because I guess the people I kind of grew up, in teenage years, learned how to do it because you couldn't really go to a barber shop or a hair salon and get the hairstyle that you wanted if you were into the kind of styling. Yeah. Let me get a psychobilly haircut, please. Yeah. How much for a psychobilly quiff? They didn't do that, so you had to figure out how to do it yourself. Oh, that's good. Very industrious. Yeah. And think about all the money I've saved over the years. True. You should have an app for that. It calculates the amount of money that I've saved over the years with not spending money in haircuts. Yeah. There's one for cigarettes and booze. So they probably can do that too. Yeah. Well, that's where all the money that I saved on haircuts. Yeah. It all equaled out. Yeah. So it's a wash. I don't need any more. Yeah. No. I don't need any app. Do they still have cigarettes? Who? I don't know. The world? Yeah.
I don't know.
Me neither.
I don't partake anymore.
Me neither.
It's one of the things that I cut out.
It's good. How long has it been?
4 years.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turns out it's not very good for you. So
No.
I think
So don't do it, kids.
that's what they say.
Don't start.
If you are to listen to people who study health and that sort of thing, that's what they say. I don't know.
Yes.
If you choose to listen to those types of people.
Yeah, and then you go to the other countries where they have the horrifying graphics, the little pictures on the cigarettes.
That's right.
Like Canada, for instance.
Yeah.
They try to scare you out of smoking.
It's pretty gross.
It's nasty.
But it doesn't stop anybody, I don't think.
No. It doesn't stop anybody. Only the people that weren't going to do it in the first place. So they go,
I guess
oh my
so.
God, a black lung.
Yeah. Do you wonder if there are people who just buy the packs maybe to collect the gross pictures? Like maybe they're into that kind of thing.
Yeah. I took them all. I took all the different ones and I taped them inside the van.
Really?
I did, yeah. I was trying to scare my bandmates, but I was still smoking at that time too. So I was trying to scare myself. It didn't work.
Apparently it did eventually. So it was a good setup.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I read a self-help book and it worked.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking.
I actually heard about that. And doesn't it encourages you to smoke like while you're reading the book?
Yep. You read the book, you smoke, and then on the last page, you shut the book, smoke your last smoke, and that's it forever. And so far, it's so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was like, horse shit. But I'll give it a shot anyway. It couldn't hurt. So I tried it, and it worked, man.
That's good. I've heard it actually work there's a number of people who told me that they read that book and it worked for them.
Good old Alan Carr.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you read any good books lately? Speaking of books.
Lately, the answer is no. I haven't been reading any books lately.
In the last 10 years?
In the last 10 years, I've read many. So I got on this kick of reading musical autobiographies.
Cool.
And I stick to autobiographies, not biographies.
Right.
I'll tell you why, because I bought this book. It was a John Coltrane biography. And I don't remember who the author was, but it's probably for the best because I didn't like it. But it was like an academic person had written a book about John Coltrane, and I started reading it, and it was like John Coltrane expressed the collective of his ancestral, and I was like, I kind of just want to know like how he grew up and how he came into the jazz scene and all the people he met and hung out with and stuff. So I stuck to autobiographies, and I read a bunch of them, and I can't say there's been one that I haven't enjoyed. So the last one I read, I was starting to read Charlie Pride, and I didn't get very far into that one. I was reading Charlie Pride's book, but I've read a bunch of them, like Ray Charles, Quincy Jones, Chrissy Hynde just came out with one a couple years ago.
Cool.
There's a lot of them.
I read Lemmy's one. It was really very entertaining.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
I actually did meet him. I met him a couple times. Was pretty well known that he used to hang out. He lived not too far from the Roxy and the Whiskey A Go-Go, like West Hollywood. So like where the old school rock and roll clubs are. And there's a Rainbow Room, which is like classic rock and roll bar. And he used to hang out there. So there was one night, probably might have been late 90s and around that time. But our band was playing. I played in a band that was called Calavera. So it's like a psychobilly band. And we were playing at the Roxy. We had played, and I think we kind of stepped out front, me and the guitar player, and he was just walking by. But at that time, we didn't know that he hung out there. It kind of became a well-known fact that he hung out at the Rainbow Room, which was immediately next door, still is immediately next door to the Roxy. So here he comes, walking down the street, and we're like, in our 20s, like, whoa, Lemmy. And we're like, I remember the guitar player. This was so funny. Lemmy's cruising down the sidewalk, and we're like, whoa, Lemmy. We kind of start, nudging each other. Oh, Lemmy, and he's coming, and the guitar player goes, oh, excuse me, Mr. Kilmeister.
Who has ever called him that, besides primary school or something?
Exactly. And it was amazing. But he stopped and he was like, yeah. And we're like, oh, we love your minute. All right. Okay. Yeah, thanks. And then went on his way. And then many years later, I actually almost got to play in a band with him. He had a band called The Head Cat. So I think that was like, old school, like 50s kind of rock and roll. So he wasn't playing bass. He was playing guitar and singing in that. So I know the guitar player, Danny B. Harvey, who was in a band called, did you just get an idea?
I did. I was just thinking really hard.
Okay.
The idea was that Slim Jim was in that band as well, right?
Yes. So, yeah, Slim Jim on drums, and they had an upright bass player, and I had played with Danny Harvey. Danny Harvey had been in a band called the Rock Cats. It was like a rockabilly band in the early 80s. And like Stray Cats era.
Yeah.
Polecats, Stray Cats, Rock Cats.
A lot of cats.
It was a catty.
It was catty.
It was a catty era.
Yeah.
But I played with Danny. So I got a call from Danny, and he goes, hey, man, we got a gig with the Head Cat, and our bass player, he was going to be out of town. So do you think you'd be available? I was like, well, let me think about that for a while. Oh, yeah, of course I wanted to do it. So that was my almost played with Lemmy moment. What happened was, of course, the bass player ended up being able to make it back in time to make the gig, so I didn't do it.
Damn.
But at the time, I was playing in Tiger Army, so there was a moment where we were out at a show, and Lemmy was there. There used to be a club here called Safari Sam's. They had like a lot of like old school rock and roll, like surf rock and that kind of thing. But I was there and saw Lemmy there, and Danny was like, hey, Lemmy, this is Jeff, bass player, da-da-da-da-da. And he plays a band called Tiger Army. They got an album. I think the album had recently come out, and it made it to the Billboard charts. Not very high, obviously, but it made it to the charts. He said, yeah, they've had an album come out and even hit the Billboard charts. And Lemmy said to me, he said, yeah, I'd have to remember exactly what he said, but he said, yeah, we had an album go to the top of the charts. And then he said the next week we got knocked out by Barbra Streisand. And then he just looked at me and he went, rock and roll.
That is awesome.
It was good.
That's Lemmy. That's a Lemmy moment. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I had a couple encounters with him, and he was a cool dude.
Cool, man. That's cool. I never met him. I got to see him play one time. And I was
Motorhead. Yeah, I saw Motorhead. Yeah.
It was good.
It was good.
I believe I saw you play in Tiger Army too.
You did?
I think so. If you were with them when they came through Bend forever ago at the Domino Room.
Yeah.
I think you were.
There may be multiple times, but I remember while touring, we met, it was Warped Tour 2011, right?
Yep.
So we started hanging out, and there came a point when I think I might have been talking to your brother, and he, after we had already been hanging out for a while, and somebody brought it up. They were like, yeah, we saw you play with Tiger Army at the Domino Room. And they were like, we actually talked to you for a while after the show.
Oh.
And
I don't think that was me, but.
It's definitely guys from the band.
One of the Flask guys probably did, yeah.
Yeah. And if it's not too much.
They did.
Well, the thing was, if it's not too much of a reveal, I think they also said that they had partaken in some psychedelics for the evening. It might have. I'm trying to remember. You'd have to ask your
It
brother.
could have been any of us. It might have been Jesse at that point in time, but I think all of us were actually at that show.
Okay, maybe they just hung out. And when he told me about it, I kind of remember like, oh yeah, there was a couple guys, and we were talking for a while there after the show.
On mushrooms.
And yeah, and I actually met your brother before the Warped Tour by sheer coincidence.
Yeah.
You guys were on tour, and it was with Aggrolites. I don't remember where it was, but we pulled up at a gas station, and I went into the little shop, and I was like going to get some snacks. And I saw it was a station wagon. You guys were in a station wagon, and I think you guys had a flag, like an American flag draped for shade on the window. But I saw an upright bass. There's a bunch of people in there, and an upright bass, like on top of all the stuff in the back. Yeah. And I went, whoa, that's cool. And it was your brother. So came into this, and I saw it, and I go, hey, it's upright bass. You guys a band? And yeah, we kind of talked for a minute. Oh, that's cool. And we've recounted this moment, your brother and I. Because it's like, oh yeah, we're doing this little tour. What about you? Oh yeah, Aggrolites. Oh yeah, cool, okay, all right. And then that was that until the Warped Tour.
Yeah, that was it. Because we were actually, I even think at that point in time we were rocking your CDs in the van.
Okay.
And so we were playing it cool, like, yeah, what's up, dude? And then we're like, that was a fucking Aggrolites, man. What the hell? Like at some random gas station.
Yeah. I don't remember where it was.
Desert. Some part of the desert somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that Warped Tour was insane. And I'm sure that you've done a couple few.
I've done 3. I did 2007 with Tiger Army, and then 2008 with Aggrolites, and then 2011 with Aggrolites again.
Yeah, that was so nice of you guys to let us put all of our shit in your trailer and a few of us stay with you on your bus. That's
right.
Yeah, that was fucked up, man. There was a lot of fucked up things that happened on that run, but yeah, it was still good though, because we got to meet you guys, Lucero, Foxy Shazam,
yeah,
Rabbits, Against Me. It was a really good tour, actually.
Yeah, you guys just split up and rode with different people. I think we had Ian with us.
Yeah.
But you guys split up on a different vehicles.
Yeah, at one point I was riding with the Skull Candy crew.
Okay.
And they also had another company sharing their bus too. And they had a spare bunk, but half of them didn't even know that I was there. I just like Ian, my friend that worked for them that summer, he just brought me in and put me in the bunk, and I closed it and passed out. And in the morning I woke up.
Everybody was gone.
Crept out and everybody was leaving, and I was like, all right. Because I wasn't supposed to be there.
You were the Ghost Rider.
I wasn't supposed to know. Yeah, Ghost Rider.
That's what they call the Ghost Rider.
But one of the nights we were with that metal band that she was our booking agent at the time, and she worked for them as well. So she let Kirk and I stay in the back lounge area, and we woke up and we were late to the place, and then we realized that the door was not locked, but it was jammed shut. There was no way to open it. And then we were late, and we were supposed to play the opening slot on the main stage. We just realized that when we got to the place, and we were stuck in the back of the fucking lounge, and people were kicking on the door this way. The bus driver is trying to break the door open. We were trying to kick it the other way, and then eventually we were just so late, and we still had to gather our shit, build the drum kit, find where all of our things were and all of our people were, and get to the main stage. And so we opened the door or the window on the side, and we bailed out the window, which is a considerable drop and a small window. I got
Yeah.
through first, and then I kind of caught Kirk, and we're like, okay, where the fuck are we? And we ran one way, and somebody said the main stage is over there, and we ran the other way, and we just barely made it in time to put up the drum kit and play.
Like 1920s black and white silent movie, Burglars.
Yes.
Looking around like, man.
Yeah, and then
Plopping out of the window.
Yeah.
Buster Keaton. You guys made it, though.
We made it.
I fell in love with a go-go singer underneath that Motor City skyline. Was it true love or was I just moonstruck? You're a princess, yes.